Tonight on Reel to Reel, we'll meet a priest who keeps the elderly on the go.
Mike Gallagher has a warning about the so-called improvements in CCD textbooks.
We'll discover how some part-time clowns brighten the day for people of all ages.
And Father Joe Glass gives us an interesting lesson in history.
Hello, I'm Jane Rudolph.
And I'm Father Dave McGowan. Welcome to Reel to Reel.
Welcome. Tonight's show is one that will be remembered by all of us involved in putting Reel to Reel together each week, as well as for our viewers. Not only because it's Father's Day, but because it will be Father Dave's final program with us. The man we've all come to know and love and sit next to over the years is going to say goodbye to the lights and the camera and the action of television.
Jane's right. It's been a tough decision, but this show's just beginning, so let's get on with it. For many senior citizens, especially those in nursing centers, life is limited to the four walls of their home. Their world revolves around the repetition of their day-to-day routine.
Physical and geographic barriers restrict the aged from breaking up this monotony. But fortunately for the elderly living in Denver, there's never a dull moment so long as the enthusiastic Father Madden is around.
Like a caring father and faithful friend, Father Madden brings much appreciated variety to the lives of the seniors who so anxiously anticipate his visits. Now let's take a closer look at this one-of-a-kind priest and his entertaining ministry for the elderly.
It all started in 1969, November of 1969. And for a number of months prior to that date, I had been going to different nursing homes. You know, it got to me that as I would visit with these people and talk with them, so many of the homes had very good activity programs, but within the home. And there didn't seem to be anything outside the home for the people. And so in 1969, November, remember it so well, I thought, we've got to do something to get these people out of the homes, get them out into society again to some degree, let them see what the world looks like, other than those four walls which can close in so sharply.
And so began the efforts of Father Declan Madden, a Franciscan priest from Denver, Colorado, to open up those walls. With 170 borrowed dollars from his church, Father Madden chartered 2 buses and took 82 senior citizens, senior roadrunners as he calls them, on a ride to the hills of Colorado. Today, we'll be on one of 25 buses that Father Madden now charters each month, taking some 1,400 people from 55 area nursing homes on trips around the Denver area.
There's a young spirit among so many of these people, absolutely. We deal with them 92, 93. Just some time ago, a woman 93, I went to see her and she had a little gift from her family. And I rapped at the door, was going to go in. She said, just a minute, I'm putting on this gift that I have. And then she said, okay, come on in. And I walked in, and she had on a shocking pink new nightgown. And here she is, 93, and she looks at me and she says, what does that do for you, boy? At 93.
Good morning, people. Hey! I never heard such a phony welcome in my life. Yeah? Usually I come in to see you when you just look up at me and say, he's here again. Huh? What are you doing, getting beautiful? Do you think it'd help me any? What could you do with me? No, don't answer that. I don't. How are you?
On many occasions, the senior roadrunners share in another of Father Madden's programs. He arranges makeup demonstrations with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and it's not just their faces that benefit from these sessions.
to me, it's such a vital, vital part of dealing with people. We're a touchy people, so many of us in the United States. And women will do it working in the home, and I wish the men would feel free. You have to watch the parameters of how you're doing it, but just to touch a person, a hand like this, be careful of arthritis, of course, or a hand on the shoulder, and I can get by, I can touch them like that and say, ooh, you look good. And they respond to touch. And then, yes, this Mary Kay business is the touching, and they feel, well, maybe I'm not such an old, decrepit person again. I look good.
Isn't she pretty? Truly the angel's best. Boy, I'm so happy. We have been heaven blessed. I can't believe what God has done. Through us, He's given life to one. But isn't she lovely?
Oh, he's a lovely guy. I got to kiss him. I give him a smack or two, I'll tell you.
There's a sense of mission fulfillment because you have people, a very small percentage of our elderly population, the fragile elderly, 5 to 8%, who are in nursing homes, and they're forgotten people, and yet they have a story to tell. They're witty, they're lovely people. And if you bring happiness, if you bring a sense of belonging, or just the idea that they still are important, that you go into a home or you deal with the people and they grab your hand, they don't want to let go. And I think what they're trying to say is, look, I'm alive, I'm a person. If you are with these people and help them in some way, they give more to you, because they teach me a patience. Like the people on a ride, I know it hurts like the devil to get up into a bus, on a walker, to whatever it may be, and yet they're very patient. They go, they do it.
It is Father Madden's dedication and belief in life that keeps the Senior Roadrunners program going. Since its beginning, the program has depended solely on donations from people who had heard or read about it. Never has Father Madden had to solicit for funds, and that makes him very proud.
I think one thing we have to do is get over our fear of aging. I had a group of people one time, people in their 50s, 60s, and I tried to get them interested in working in a nursing home. And I couldn't get anybody to volunteer. And finally, I got them together. I said, all right, let's stop all the nonsense. Why? Why won't you go in? And one of them said, because it reminds me too sharply of what I could be in a short time. And if I don't have to look at it, then I can forget about it for a while.
It is inevitable, this thing called old age. Hopefully, most of us will remain strong and independent. Should we need nursing home care, though, it is programs like the Senior Roadrunners that help ease some of the loneliness.
I very likely would be sitting in my room wishing the telephone would ring and somebody called me and say, I'll be over after you.
The most pleasure is to see the looks and the expressions on these people, and to tease a little bit with them, and to see them react and let the feeling come through that they are appreciated, that they are loved, and they love in return.
I wish it was so I could do something for somebody like this. I was always having so much done for me, I'd like to return the favor.
Father Declan Madden has a dream for his Roadrunners. Someday he'd like to charter an airliner and take his group on an airplane ride. Not to any particular place, just a ride, a little lunch perhaps, some conversation with the attendants. For them, a little time to be away.
I said he was a Dickensville priest, and I I didn't know what they'd do with him when they got him to heaven.
Who says he's going to heaven?
Oh, he'll go to heaven all right.
It's those special people like Father Madden who help the elderly stay so young at heart.
Don't go away, because we're going to take a trip back in time with Father Joe Glass.
You know me, you know Reel to Reel, but you might not know what it takes to bring it to you each week. It takes the dedication of a creative, hardworking staff who roam the Delaware Valley looking for the stories that will make a difference in your life. But as in all modern media, bringing you the good news is complicated and expensive. For the past 5 seasons, we've been able to bring you this weekly show requesting only your cards and letters in return. If you're a new viewer, or if you've enjoyed the message of Reel to Reel over these past years, we'd like to thank you for watching and invite you to participate in this venture by actively supporting the show. Today, with costs rising all around us, we need your financial support. A donation of $5, $10, $20, or whatever you can send would help ensure the continued existence of this program. Send your contributions to Reel, 222 North 17th Street, room 907, Philadelphia, PA 19103. That's 222 North 17th Street, room 907, Philadelphia, PA 19103. And thank you. Looking back at history can provide us with priceless information for the present and the future. That's why it's so important to preserve historical data.
There are museums, libraries, and a variety of institutions that preserve the books, letters, and the memorabilia from the past.
There's even a place that specifically houses much of our Catholic heritage. And here's Father Joe Glass to tell us more.
The preservation of our history is a precious and essential duty, though through neglect and ignorance, much of it has been lost forever. One organization which has attempted to curtail this loss is the American Catholic Historical Society. As the oldest existing Catholic historical society in the United States, it has done much to save and preserve our Catholic history. In August of 1883, Pope Leo XIII issued an encyclical which encouraged Catholic historical studies. Prompted by this papal encouragement, in July of 1884 at Martin I.J. Griffin's office, a group of 12 persons, 3 of them clergy, agreed it was time to preserve and collect Catholic historical materials. On July 22, 1884, the American Catholic Historical Society was founded, and Father Thomas C. Middleton was later elected its first president. At its outset, the American Catholic Historical Society defined its 3 principal objectives. First, to aid Catholic writers and speakers, and in time to publish such works as may be of special value to the Catholic public. Second, to make the truth known about Catholic history. And third, to establish a library and a cabinet. Its first 2 objectives were addressed in 1886 when the ACHS began to publish the records of the American Catholic Historical Society of Philadelphia. Here was a journal that incorporated a wide variety of topics, including reprinted wills of colonial Catholics and inventories of their estates, articles on the history of parish churches, and even genealogies of old Catholic families. Their third objective was realized in 1895 when the Society moved into the Biddle Mansion at 715 Spruce Street. In this building, they not only had their own lecture room, but they could now accommodate a library of 100,000 volumes. There was even a reading room for newspaper files and space for display cases of relics and other artifacts. In time, the expanding collection of the Society made the Biddle Mansion inadequate in terms of space and fire protection. Its members decided to move their materials to St. Charles Seminary in 1933. Here, held in perpetual custody by the seminary, the entire collection is presently stored in the Ryan Archives located under the St. Martin Chapel. With its present headquarters on 263 South 4th Street, the ACHS still functions today, and we as Catholics are forever grateful to it for the vast wealth of Catholic history that it has handed down to us. I'm Father Joe Glass with this moment in history.
Thanks, Father. Keeping up with the changing times is very often a challenging task. School textbooks are kept up to date by incorporating contemporary issues and current fads into their lessons.
Recently, even publishers of religious textbooks have been relying on examples from popular culture such as movies and television shows in the CCD lessons. These CCD textbooks obviously differ from the Baltimore Catechism of yesteryear.
Is this appropriate? Well, as you probably guessed, Mike Gallagher, as always, has something to say.
Hello, I'm Mike Gallagher. The other night, my wife and I and our two young daughters, 12 and 8, watched a play on television. It was by the English playwright Simon Gray and was called Quartermain's Terms. Now, the subject could hardly have been more remote from the world of my daughters. It was about the troubles of some unhappy teachers, all misfits of one kind or another. They staffed a lackluster school for teaching English to foreigners. But even the younger one found much in that was fascinating and funny. Now, it happened a few days earlier that I'd been browsing through my older daughter's CCD textbook, and I ran into a reference to the Karate Kid. The Karate Kid. Think of it. We have a religion with a cultural and intellectual tradition that even non-believing scholars have the greatest regard for. But you'd never get a hint of that from any CCD textbook I've ever seen. They want to be relevant, so they give us the Karate Kid, or worse. A friend of mine, the principal of a Catholic high school, called me up and asked me what I thought of The Breakfast Club. Now, The Breakfast Club, very popular on the VCR circuit, is probably the definitive parent-bashing movie. Not to mention it projecting the most benign imaginable view of drugs and alcohol abuse and sexual promiscuity, all touted as a way of loosening up and getting to know and trust people. Why did the principal want to know about it? Well, it seemed that some religious education specialists in the diocese had been recommending it as a fine discussion starter for teenage groups. Such specialists, alas, whatever they might know about religious education, know nothing about movies. They know nothing about the insidious little messages that hit movie makers are able to shoot right by the blinders that specialists seem to favor. If you want to use art to teach, go ahead by all means, but use good art for heaven's sake and meet it on its own terms. Don't try to baptize it by force. Don't try to insert values. A genuine work of art like Simon Gray's play, even if Gray himself is not a believer, tells us more about life than all the Karate Kids and Breakfast Clubs ever made. Gray's desperate characters, all of them so taken up with their own problems that they have neither the time nor the energy to love. It's perhaps just the kind of strong medicine needed to jolt young people into realizing that there is a wider world out there, one not circumscribed by rock music, guest jeans, and parties. I'm Mike Gallagher for Arts Review.
Thanks, Mike. Coming up, a little clowning around.
But don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
It's dynamic. It's really dynamic.
Acting is top-notch. The staging is creative.
You can almost touch the actors. You're right there.
Innovative, exciting, unexpected.
If you're worried about your dollar, this is the best bargain by far.
Delightfully friendly ambience.
There's a chemistry there that makes it enjoyable to attend the theater.
Villanova's Summer Theater continues with the production of Julius Caesar until July 1st. Call for information.
Nothing can bring on a smile like the presence of a clown. With their too large shoes, funny faces, and colorful clothes, clowns can turn frowns upside down.
And the men and women in our last story tonight consider their lighthearted clowning a serious ministry. With a little makeup and a lot of imagination, these everyday people transform themselves into seasoned performers.
The zany antics of these clowns may seem like simple things, but they can make a big difference for the lonely people who are lucky enough to catch their act.
I need an outlet. I need a hiding place, and it's a hiding. You cover your face up, you can be a little more than what you are outside of the makeup.
Well, if you're a reserved person like I am, normally, when I put a clown outfit on and get my makeup, I change. It's strange. I guess when you're a conservative person, you want to be outgoing, and you're not. So when you put this outfit on, you become an outgoing person.
Poet E.E. Cummings once encountered a clown on a busy street. The clown handed him a flower, and Cummings wrote of the experience, "A clown is a mystery for which I've no words except alive." In St. Petersburg, Florida, there's a group of men and women who have joined together because of their desire to be alive. They call themselves the Suncoast Classical Clowns.
I think that anybody can be a clown if they really wanted to. What is a clown? Just a happy person that wants to make somebody else happier.
Now, being a clown is not as simple as it may seem. It takes a great deal of work and commitment. Putting on the many layers of makeup for each performance can take up to 2 hours. Each layer must be painted, powdered, watered, and finished. And of course, the type of makeup required depends upon the type of clown one wishes to be.
The white face is an elegant clown. All their outfit matches. They don't get pies in the face. They don't get the water. They instigate the tricks, and they get an Auguste clown to play that trick. The Auguste clown is the clowns with the pink around the face and the white in the eyes and the mouth. And they're kind of a go-between, and they're the ones that play the trick on the hobos. And they get all the pie and the water.
Drawn together by more than their love of clowning, these special clowns have devoted their efforts to promotional and charity causes. They do as many as 120 shows a year. Their favorite performances are for hospitalized children and the frail elderly living in Florida nursing homes.
When we go to places like the nursing homes in different areas, none of these people have probably smiled for a long time, but the minute they see you, you just bring out something in them that they really enjoy seeing you do. And you can't go wrong doing that.
Said, today we love you, come back. I mean, how can anybody not love that? It's so rewarding and they appreciate you so.
I like it all. Anytime that I can get dressed up and go out and do what I do, and what we do together, it makes me happy, yes. I tell you one thing, you come away from doing a show like we did today, or of children, we go away and you feel like you're 10 feet tall because you know that you can't fail for making somebody happy, and I guess that's what we're all here for.
Those of you who watched our show on Mother's Day may recall that we ended that show by reading a story sent to us by loyal viewer Vince Bingham.
Vince sent us another short story, this time written by his daughter, and as a tribute to fathers everywhere, we'll share with you the story entitled Someday. In my house, when I was small, lived a man and a lady. It's easy to remember the lady because she seems much today as she did then, always caring, forgiving, understanding, and interested in all I said and did. I knew she'd never change. She's Mom, and she'll always love me. The man, I remember, started out much like the lady, except that not only was he a millionaire, but also the smartest and strongest man in the world. He was Daddy, and oh, I loved him so much.
But as I grew older, he seemed to change. He appeared to have lost most of his money, his strength was diminishing, and he didn't seem nearly as smart. I started paying less attention to him around this time because I figured I knew all I needed to know, and he was saying things that I either didn't understand or didn't believe. Things like, someday you'll thank me, and someday you'll be sorry. And once, when asked what he'd like for Father's Day, he replied, love and respect. Now, seriously, Dad.
Well, now I've changed. It was me all along, wasn't it? My father is now and always has been the same man I loved so much when I was little, only human. The only thing that has ever changed was me and my view of him. But what bothers me most is that when he told me someday I'd be sorry and someday I would thank him, he never told me how. Every time I try, it sounds so phony. Somehow now it has become very important to me. I guess today must be someday. And today is also the day that we do have to say goodbye to Father Dave, and I know it's not easy to do. Father, I'd like to thank you for making this year so special to me. It was the year I came back home and made Philadelphia my home once again, and I'm going to miss you. The seat will be quite empty without you.
Well, thank you, Jane. I appreciate that. When I was ordained 10 years ago, I was ordained to be a parish priest. And even though we know each other pretty much through reel-to-reel, by and large, I am a parish priest. That's what I've been doing all these years, and reel-to-reel has been kind of a part-time avocation. This past January, I received a new parish assignment. It's taken me rather distant from the seminary where our studio is located, and it has taken up much more of my time. So consequently, in justice to the parish where I have my first and most important assignment, and to the studio and to reel-to-reel, I've decided that it's time for me to step back from this program. It's been 3 wonderful years, full of happy memories, and it's been wonderful to participate in this part of the evangelistic process that takes place within the Delaware Valley. I'm grateful for the opportunity that it's given me, and I hope to be, like you, a faithful viewer of Reel-to-Reel for years to come. Thank you. Next week, learn the facts about midlife crisis when we join Father Tom Legere for a continuation of our spiritual journey.
And join us throughout the summer as we have encore performances with some of our most popular reel-to-reel programs from this past season. So we'll be looking for you next season with all new programs. Good night.
Good night. And remember always, Jesus is Lord.
Okay, that's it. We're out.
All right.
All right.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Good luck.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Susie, thank you. You've been great. I appreciate it. Appreciate everything.
No more
I'll be stopping back.
problems.
All the best.
Thanks
You,
so
Jenny.
much.
All right.
Take care.
Where'd the time go?
I don't know.
Vincent.
3 years.
All right.
Been a pleasure working with you.
Well, I'll be watching, Vince. I'm going to keep
so.
an eye out.
You better be watching.
Keep an eye out for it. I mean, we get you all the way up in Morrisville, so I have no complaints. Yeah, distance. Let me see. Lisa, you here? Yeah. Taking off, so you take care. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Good luck to you too. All the best with all the editing and all that.
I'll miss you.
Well, you've got a tough act to follow as well. And Dawn, take care.
Yeah, really.
All right. All the best here. Enjoy. Really enjoy it. All right.
Bye.
Well, I'll see you all. Okay.
Travel arrangements for Reel-to-Reel by Atkinson and Mullen Travel of Media, PA. Phone area 215-565-7070.
Many people find retirement isn't as much fun as they thought it would be. Too much time on their hands, too little to do. The Retired Senior Volunteer Program has thousands of opportunities for retired executives, housewives, engineers, teachers, whatever your skills or schedule. RSVP has something to fit anyone's interests. You can do what you want, when you want to do it, and still enjoy your well-earned retirement.
What's your problem? Let's see. Let's figure this out.
You've learned a lot in your life. Share the experience of a lifetime.
Are you 18 to 35? The next Saturday is your day. Our charismatic young adult prayer group meets at St. Charles Seminary from 7 to 9 p.m.
We've been together for 2 years now, and the numbers keep growing. That's the Spirit's power.
So get in on the action of the Spirit in your life, and invite others to come.
See you at St. Charles Seminary next Saturday at 7 p.m. If you need directions, call me at 668-HOPE.